Ranga. Welcome to Gali Classroom. This is the second lecture in the chapter Atoms in CBSE 12th Standard Physics Chapter 12 Atoms or Atomic Structure. This is the second lecture taken in English. This is the second lecture taken in English. Okay, sir. Sir, in this lecture, before we get into this lecture, let us do a very short recollection of what we have already learned in the last lecture. In Rutherford's gold foil experiment that was seen in the last lecture, we compared between n and theta. N is the total number of scattered alpha particles and theta is the scattering angle. We saw that n is inversely proportional to theta. This is the relation. Also, Rutherford derived an experimental formula. What is an experimental formula? A formula that does not really have a derivation, but a formula that was calculated from experimental values. A formula that is calculated from experimental values. How did Rutherford relate between n and theta? He told that n is equal to k into z square divided by sine power 4 theta by 2. This is the statement of Rutherford. Okay, so what else did Rutherford talk about? So here also in the formula n, the total number of scattered alpha particles, and theta, the scattering angle, are inversely proportional to each other. We also saw what is B. What is B? B is the impact parameter. Let us say this is my nucleus. With respect to the nucleus, let us say an alpha particle is coming in path 1. Here an alpha particle is coming with respect to path 1. Another alpha particle is coming with respect to path 2. Another alpha particle is coming with respect to path 3 and path 4. Okay, here because the alpha particle is straight to the nucleus, it is facing a lot of repulsion, and at a point this particular alpha particle is simply stopping and it is turning back, resulting in a scattering angle of theta is equal to 180 degree. Resulting in a scattering angle of theta is equal to 180 degree. What is happening with respect to the path 2 alpha particle? It is getting slightly nearer and then it is undergoing scattering. The scattering angle has been reduced. The scattering angle has been reduced. What about the next alpha particle? It is going even closer and then it is undergoing scattering. Once more the scattering angle is reduced. What happens with respect to path 4? It is going again closer to the nucleus and then it is scattering. Here also and then it is scattering. Here also the scattering angle is reduced. As we go up, our scattering angle is reduced. How are we putting this in terms that can be easily understood? This particular perpendicular distance between the velocity vector. What vector? Velocity vector of the alpha particle. Here let us call this velocity vector as v1. Let us call this as v2. Let us call this as v3. Let us call this as v4. The perpendicular distance between the velocity vector of the alpha particle and the center of the nucleus is called as impact parameter or B. Is called as impact parameter or B. It simply measures the effect of the effect of the nucleus on the incoming alpha particle. So for path 2 this is B, for path 3 this is B, for path 4 this is B. For path 1 B is equal to 0. For path 1 B is equal to 0. Okay, sir. Now we have understood B. Give an idea of what is the distance of closest approach. The closest distance that the alpha particle is going with respect to the nucleus is called as distance of closest approach. Okay, sir. Sir, last time we learnt an idea to derive the distance of closest approach. On what concept is that idea based on? The alpha particle is coming towards the nucleus. The alpha particle is coming towards the nucleus. Here, what is happening? According to law of conservation of mechanical energy. Let me repeat. According to law of conservation of mechanical energy, the final and the initial energies of the total system has to be same. The final and the initial energies of the total system has to be same. Let us write it up. How are we supposed to write this? We will write this as okay, initial potential energy plus initial kinetic energy is equal to final potential energy plus final kinetic energy. Initially, when the alpha particle is coming inside the system, it has no potential energy, so it simply has kinetic energy. Once the alpha particle has reached distance of closest approach, it has no kinetic energy. All its kinetic energy has been converted to potential energy. Using this particular idea, we derived the relation between the radius r naught is equal to 2 into z e square 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into kinetic energy. We derived this particular relation. We saw that r naught and kinetic energy are inversely proportional to one another. We saw that r naught and kinetic energy are inversely proportional to one another. Using this, we calculated r, radius of the nucleus, to be in Fermi, to be in 10 to the power minus 15 meters or Fermi, by substituting all the proper values. Kinetic energy maximum, it has to be 7.7 MeV, Z is 79, E is charge of the electron, which is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So we also calculated the size of the nucleus, the approximate size of the nucleus. Okay, sir. So what are we going to learn next in this particular topic? We will learn about the different amounts of energies in this particular system. We will learn about the different amounts of energies in this particular system. Okay. First, in order to calculate the different energies, the first energy we are going to calculate is kinetic energy. Let this be the nucleus. An electron is revolving around like this. This electron is pulled inside by electrostatic force of attraction. Electrostatic force of attraction or Coulomb's force. This electrostatic force of attraction is providing the centripetal force necessary for the revolutionary motion. So centripetal force and electrostatic force of attraction are equal to one another. What is the formula for Coulomb's force or electrostatic force of attraction? K into Q1 Q2 divided by R square. Here it is matched with centripetal force. This has already been studied in 11th standard physics. Centripetal force is mv square divided by R. So we can equate both of these values. We will cancel R and R. So I will write K Q1 Q2 divided by. Let me bring this m over here. Mr is equal to V square. I have brought this m over here. What next? I am going to take root on both sides. K Q1 K Q1 Q2. Let me substitute Q1 and Q2. K into what is the value of Q1? Q1 is the charge of the nucleus. I am going to put it as Zt. Z is the total number of protons given by the atomic number. E is the charge of the protons into another E which represents electrons. Mr which is equal to V square. Yeah. So here again I am going to take root on both sides. What is the value of K? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is the value of K. Here I will have Ze square divided by Mr. Ze square divided by Mr. This is equal to velocity. Sir, now I need to find kinetic energy, but I know that kinetic energy is half mv square. Here, what is the value of V? Value of V is found here. Let me write it up. 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Ze square whole divided by Mr. Okay, so put a whole square. The root and the square will get cancelled. So once the root and the square is cancelled, I can write half m into 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Z into E square divided by Mr. I can cut this particular m and this particular m. So the final answer is half into 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Zt square divided by R. So that is the kinetic energy. What is the total potential energy? We have already derived the formula for the potential energy. It is written as K into Q1 and Q2 divided by R. here K into Q1, Q2 divided by R. Q1 and Q2 are the charge of the particles. R is the distance between the charged particles. When calculating potential energy, Q1 and Q2 need to be substituted with symbols. When calculating Coulomb's force, you need not use symbols. You need not put symbols here. You can simply put E for the electron. But while calculating here, what is the value of K? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. What is Q1? Q1 is ZTE. Here I need to use minus E. For when calculating potential energy, I will substitute the charges with symbols whole divided by R. Whole divided by R. Okay. So can I try to write kinetic energy and potential energy over here? Let me write kinetic energy and potential energy over here. So first, let me write what is my kinetic energy. What is my kinetic energy? Kinetic energy can be written as 1 by 2 into 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught ZE square divided by R. What about potential energy? Potential energy is equal to, I will bring this particular minus outside. So if I bring that minus outside, I will have 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught ZE square divided by R. Okay sir, now we have potential energy and kinetic energy. I can calculate total energy. Total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Let us write it up here. 1 by 2, 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught ZT square divided by R. Okay, can I rub this off? Have you noted this down? Yeah, I am rubbing it off because we have a limited supply of board. It is very imperative that you take constant notes because we have a very small board in order to maintain the clarity. Yeah, so plus potential energy. Potential energy is, I have minus 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught ZE square divided by R. So let me take this particular term, and this particular term has a common term outside. 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught is ZE square divided by R. 1 by 2 minus 1. So this can be written as minus 1 by 2, 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Yeah, am I getting this right? Why are you putting minus half, sir? Half minus 1 is minus half. Half minus 1 is minus half. So ZE square divided by R. Yeah. Okay. So this is my total energy. Let me write my total energy over here. My total energy is minus 1 by 2, 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught ZT square divided by R. Yeah. So now we have kinetic energy, potential energy and total energy. Now we need to do a comparison of all the three energies. We need to do a comparison of all the three energies. Let us do a comparison of all the three energies. So here, let us start with kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is equal to, okay, kindly look at this. Kinetic energy and total energy are one and the same. Total energy has an extra negative. So I am going to add an extra negative and I am going to put total energy, which is equal to, sir, how will I get PE from KE, sir? There is an extra minus here. In PE is also there is an extra minus. In potential energy there is an extra minus. Potential energy is twice of kinetic energy. Kindly look at this. All the terms inside the red box are exactly equal. All the terms inside the red box are exactly equal. So, if you compare kinetic energy and potential energy, this can be termed as magnitude of 1. This can be termed as magnitude of half. So, kinetic energy can be termed as magnitude of half. So, half PE. Are you able to understand how I compared kinetic energy, total energy and potential energy? Kindly note down this comparison. It will be very helpful for a lot of problems. Kinetic energy is equal to minus total energy, which is equal to minus half of potential energy, which is equal to minus half of potential energy. Okay, so if I know kinetic energy of the electron, immediately I can calculate the total energy and potential energy. Knowing one is enough to calculate any of them. Knowing one is enough to calculate any of them. Okay, sir. Sir, let me ask you a question. Why is total energy negative here? Total energy negative means this electron is bounded to this nucleus. this electron is bounded to this nucleus. The electron simply cannot escape because it is under the force of attraction of the nucleus. This is the bounded condition. Another thing to note is the kinetic energy is inversely proportional to R. The potential energy is inversely proportional to R. The total energy is inversely proportional to R. So let me compare all the three energies. Let me put this as R. R is the distance between the nucleus and the electron. Here I will put magnitude of energy. Okay, sir. What else? The first thing is kinetic energy and R are inversely proportional to each other. So this is going to be Ke. Okay, sir. With respect to Te, the only change is a negative sign. The only change, Ke and Te are symmetric curves because the only change is an extra negative sign. So I will have a relationship like this. This is going to be Te or total energy. This is going to be Te or total energy. The next curve is going to be Pe or potential energy. The potential energy has double the magnitude of total energy. Am I right or wrong? The potential energy has the double the magnitude of total energy. Potential energy has double the magnitude of both the kinetic and total energy. Pe is double the value of both Ke and Te. Are you able to understand this particular graph? Yeah? Okay, Kana. That's the basic comparison of kinetic energy, potential energy and total energy. The another thing is, let me ask you a question. When will this electron escape? There is a positively charged nucleus. There is an electron which is simply going around like this. Okay, so with this electron is rotating, undergoing revolutions, it is being attracted by the nucleus. If this particular R value is increased to infinity, what will happen? Here in the total energy in the denominator, R approaches infinity. What will happen if a value in the denominator is approaching infinity? The total term will become 0. I am repeating, if R, which is in the denominator, is approaching infinity, the total thing will become 0. The total energy will become 0. Then what is happening? The electron is simply escaping from the nucleus and becoming a free electron. The electron is simply escaping from the nucleus and becoming a free electron. As long as the total energy is negative, what is happening? The electron is bounded to the nucleus. The electron is under the control of the nucleus. The electron is undergoing revolutions around the nucleus. Are you comfortable with this particular story? This concludes the mathematical analysis of Rutherford's model. What else is left in Rutherford's model, sir? In Rutherford's model, finally we are going to look at the limitations of Rutherford's model or the disadvantages of Rutherford's model. What are the limitations and disadvantages of Rutherford's model? Okay, let us check. The first limitation is, there is the scientist called as Maxwell. So Maxwell is giving an idea. What idea is Maxwell giving? An accelerated charged particle is radiating energy. So this particular electron is always accelerating. Why? Because here its velocity direction is this. Here its velocity direction is this. Here its velocity direction is this. So the electron while rotating is constantly changing its velocity direction. Hence velocity direction is changing means the electron is accelerating. Electron is obviously a charged particle. So according to Maxwell, an accelerated charged particle like this electron is radiating and losing energy. What is it doing? It is radiating and losing energy. So here this electron is losing energy. Because it is losing energy, it is slowly spiraling into the nucleus. Sir, give me a better explanation. If this electron has more energy, it will go around the nucleus. It will not be attracted towards the nucleus. It will simply go around the nucleus. But because this electron is losing energy, because it is an accelerated charged particle, it is slowly pulled by the nucleus. The nucleus is pulling the electron because that is losing energy, and this electron is spiraling inside the nucleus. This electron will slowly spiral and collapse into the nucleus. The atom will become unstable because the electron has just collapsed into the nucleus. Sir, but everything is stable. You are stable. This towel is stable. What is this cloth? You cannot call this as a towel. This cloth is stable. This board is stable. This pen is stable. So there has to be something wrong with Rutherford's model. Why can't Maxwell's theory be wrong? Maxwell's theory has been separately proved. You will learn it later on in engineering perhaps. In engineering perhaps. So Maxwell's theory has already been proved without mathematically proved without any doubt that an accelerated charged particle will lose energy. So Rutherford was not able to explain why atom is actually stable. Why atom is actually stable. According to Maxwell, the entire thing must radiate energy, electron must spiral inside and collapse. But Rutherford was not able to explain why everything is stable. What is the next point, sir? Next point is Rutherford was not able to explain the discrete spectrum of atoms. Rutherford was not able to explain discrete spectrum of atoms. What is discrete spectrum of atoms? Rutherford thought that when an atom is emitting energy, wavelength, it will emit all types of wavelength. Rutherford expected atom to emit all types of wavelength, but atom gave only very specific discrete wavelengths when giving energy. Atom released only very specific discrete wavelengths when it is releasing energy. So the hydrogen gas absorbed and radiated only specific wavelengths. This was also not explained by Rutherford. So Rutherford failed to explain the stability of the atom. First point is Rutherford failed to explain the stability of the atom. Second point is Rutherford was not able to explain the discrete spectrum of the atom. Discrete spectrum of the atom. Sir, I am very comfortable with this particular point. This particular point needs bit more explanation. I understand that because I have not explained what is the meaning of the term discrete. I have not explained how energy can be expressed in terms of wavelength. Can you wait for just another lecture? When I explain Bohr's model, these concepts will be better explained. There, I will again put up this board and explain this second point. While going for the next lecture, while explaining Bohr's model, I will compare this particular point there. I will analyze this particular point there and give you better illustrations. Okay, Tango? Hope you guys, that's basically the end of this lecture. Hope you guys enjoyed this lecture. If you like our lectures, subscribe to us, like our videos, recommend our channel to your friends. We will have so much fun learning physics together. Cheers and thank you. See you guys in the next lecture. See you guys in the next lecture. Thank you, Gana. Bye. Bye.